All right, let's start in the AFC. Yeah, we don't need Wilson for this anyway because the Steelers don't matter. The Patriots didn't play on Sunday. They're the 1 seed. The Titans beat the Jaguars. They're your 2 seed. The Chiefs, all 3 teams, 9-4. This is a fun race up at the top of the AFC Breech. And, of course, the Ravens with their loss and the Chargers with their win, now 8-5. Indy off. A winner for this week. One of them has to, we'll get to them in a minute, but one of them has to be Indy because they didn't even play football and moved way up in the playoff standings thanks to how things shook out in the AFC. Buffalo drops down to the 7 seed. That is, I would say that is as dangerous a 7 teams as you could put together. Maybe if Lamar's hobbled, you take out Baltimore and put in Cleveland or Cincinnati. How many of those 7 teams do you see actually making it to the postseason?
6 of them. I think we only see 1 team, and I think like I said earlier, I think the Ravens probably don't win the division, so it's probably them. You slip someone out the 4 seed, and like you just said, put the Browns or Bengals in there, and that makes for an interesting playoff. I mean, you would have
so the team you have falling out is just the Ravens,
probably the Ravens,
and you have it sure does look like the Patriots and the Titans will win their respective divisions.
Yes.
Do you think it's Indy and Buffalo as the wild cards?
If the Titans just go 2-2, they win the division.
Same for the Patriots.
If the Colts lose, the Colts play Saturday against the Patriots. If they lose that game, the Titans could clinch the division by winning on Sunday. So the Titans could clinch this weekend in a realistic scenario. And then obviously, so it feels like the top 3 teams are definitely in. The Chargers are 8-5 just because they have a game up on everyone. They're in good shape. The Colts are the interesting one because their schedule is just so
it's weird.
Like they have Jacksonville, they should obviously beat. The Raiders, they should probably beat. And so you win those 2 games and you have to be feeling pretty comfortable. And then I think if you can go 1-1 in the other 2, which are against the Cardinals and Patriots, I think you're in. So I do think the Colts will make it. And then, what do you think of the 7th spot? You think the Bills get it?
I think the Bills get it because they have the Jets, Falcons, and Panthers left on their schedule, and the Bills have beaten up on bad teams. So I think they'll lose in Foxborough. I don't know what to make of the Colts and Pats game on Saturday. Indy could win that game. I'm standing for the Patriots pretty hard. Wouldn't be shocked if Indy won that game. Indy's probably going to lose one of Pats at home or at Cardinals. So best case scenario, Indy finishes 10-6 or 10-7, excuse me. I think the Bills probably finish 10-7 as well, but 10-7 is not getting you the division. So I think both of those teams are in really good shape to get those wild card spots because of the current tiebreakers. Now, those tiebreakers can change a little bit, I guess. Cleveland's not going to catch Indy for conference record, but these things can shift around based on these final 4 games. It is starting to feel like if Cleveland or Cincinnati want to make the postseason, that they have to get there via the division instead of via the wild card, just because of the schedules available to Indy and Buffalo.
Right. And I mean, there are, I feel like Cincinnati kind of controls because every team they play, the Broncos, the Ravens, the Chiefs, the Browns are all in the playoff race or actually in the playoffs.
The Bengals control the playoffs?
No, they control. If they win out, they're going to get in. But
they control their own destiny, and their games will have more of an impact than other teams.
Right. I mean, if they win out, they'd win the AFC North. So it's not even about like the wild card spot. So in that sense, they control their own fate.
Wilson, what do you think about the AFC side of things? How do you? Breech has. I kind of agree with Breech. I think we get 6 of these 7 teams that are currently in.
Yep.
And the team that falls out is Baltimore with a hurt Lamar Jackson and a tough schedule.
I was going to swap Cincy and Buffalo, but
Buffalo has
keep the Ravens as the North champs.
Well, I said the Bengals earlier in the podcast. I don't know if that math works. If the Bengals and Baltimore can both make it with the Bengals winning the division and then Buffalo somehow missing.
Buffalo is very likely to go 3-1, I think.
They lost to the Jaguars. They got their doors blown up by the Colts. We don't know. We just don't know.
That game is going to sit with me for like 18 months.
The Colts, the Jags game.
Just beat the Jags. Beat the Jaguars.
Right. Yep.
You lose it. The Jaguars scored 9 points and you didn't beat them. Beat the
You
Jaguars
lost.
and you were getting to 11 wins comfortably.
You lost to a team with no coach.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's toast, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it feels like, and again, this can change dramatically. The Bills can lose to the Jets, Panthers, or Falcons, and that would flip things upside down. All right, let's go to but I think the consensus is this is the nucleus, and then the AFC North is sort of a wild card out there, and with the caveat that the Patriots and I think it's about time for Brinson to fake a power outage. Anyway, to the NFC. Arizona and the Rams play tonight, Monday night. Arizona has the number one. They're the number 1 seed. Packers number 2. Tampa number 3. Dallas 4 at 9-4, and in firm control of that division with Washington as the 7 seed at 6-7, and then 2 NFC West teams 5 and 6, the Rams and the 49ers. I feel pretty good about 6 of these teams, sort of where we were a couple of weeks ago. 6 of these teams feel like pretty good bets to make the postseason.
You were on San Fran early, and I was on Seattle early, and that just didn't work out for me.
Well, I think San Francisco is kind of taking that New Orleans spot.
And that's the other thing. I thought New Orleans would be fine because we didn't before Jameis's knee injury.
Yeah. Yep.
And Trevor Siemian wasn't the answer.
And I mean, now the Cardinals are probably going to win the division.
I mean, if they win Monday night, they're winning the division.
If they get to 11-3 with a sweep over the Rams and the 49ers, they will win the division. Right. They have a 2-game lead in the Rams. If the Rams win Monday night, all that changes and kind of gets interesting. Green Bay is a lock for a top 4 seed. Tampa is a lock for a top 4 seed. Dallas a lock for a top 4 seed. So those top 4 seeds could shift around amongst themselves, but they're going to be who they are more or less.
If the Rams win Monday night, that would drop Arizona to the 3 spot, and Green Bay would move up to 1.
I was going to ask, if you had to put the odds, or you can rank them, it doesn't matter to me.
We talked about this before you got on, I think.
Arizona, Green Bay, Tampa. You talked about that.
Yeah, who would you pick?
The Packers.
I said Packers. Breech made a compelling case for the Bucks, and it involves playing the Panthers twice.
I was 51-49 towards Buccaneers, but I don't think it's going to be the Cardinals.
I think we keep sleeping on the Cardinals, and they keep showing up. So
they just have a much tougher schedule than either Green Bay. If Tampa Bay gets to play the Panthers twice, the Panthers are not beating the Bucks.
Tampa Bay has the easiest remaining schedule. Green Bay has the 7th easiest remaining schedule. Arizona still has to play the Cowboys, Rams, and Colts.
And it's not like
the Seahawks, who aren't as bad as the record indicates.
And it's not like 2 years ago where you would get to week 17, you were the 2 seed or the 1 seed, and you might be willing to rest your guys in week 17 because you just wanted to buy, and you were willing to sacrifice that chance. Like you need that. These teams are going to be gunning for that 1 seed after this long of a season. So
all right, well, what about the 7th seed? Who's going to get that?
I don't know. Devo, are the Eagles? I guess the Eagles are off. Are the Eagles going to make the playoffs?
I feel good about them versus Washington, and they've beaten.
They play Washington
Atlanta.
This week, that's right.
They've beaten New Orleans. They play Washington twice. They should beat the Giants the second time around, but then it's that Minnesota team that is the most insane up and down team in the entire league. You're going to get a 1-possession game in their remaining 4 games. It's just how many of those they are able to pull out.
Vikings have Rams at home day after Christmas in 2 weeks. They play the Bears next week on Monday Night Football. And then the Packers on the road on January 2nd in prime time. So tough matchups for them. The Eagles could actually end up with a Cowboys team. I can't try to remember what Mike McCarthy did in Green Bay. Did he sit his guys late if they were locked in?
McCarthy's definitely a guy who would sit people.
Yeah, he is, right? Because the Cowboys could very easily
have the division wrapped up, but not be able to get the bye, so they don't care.
Yeah. And I don't think you really care if you're the 2, 3, or 4 seed. I mean, you prefer to be the 2 seed, but you're not going to risk, Dak Prescott's ACL over going from 4 to 2, right?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, you have a much better shot of getting a home game in the next round
Sure,
if
yeah.
you are the 2 seed.
I'm saying like if it's a case of win and you get the 2 seed, then I think that they'll play him. If it's a case of 3 or 4 things have to happen
Right.
to get the 2 seed, then they probably are like, all right, we'll do a quarter and let's see where we're at and scoreboard watch and then pull him or something like that.
And it's maybe get the 2 seed and knock a division rival out of the playoffs and bump, the Vikings or someone
Evo's
else in
playing
there. Maybe
5D
it's
chess.
just swap out one division rival for Washington. So there's going to be some options there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Do you take Eagles?
I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
Ugh.
Sorry, guys. I hate myself for it. I don't deny it.
The real problem for Debo and the Eagles is that the stupid Steelers lost to the Vikings. That would have been a huge help.
I wish that the Eagles, or I wish the Cowboys could trade for Nick Mullins and then start him. Was it Nick Mullins or was it somebody else?
That's a weird wish to have.
Oh, the Week 17 game.
I wanted to trade for Nick Mullins and start him against the Eagles in Week 18 and knock the Eagles out of the playoffs.
Was that Nick Mullins?
Yeah, the guy that came
Nate
in was
Sudfeld?
Nate Sudfeld.
Oh, Sudfeld,
Nate
not
Sudfeld.
Mullins. Okay. Wait, is Nate Sudfeld a free agent?
No, but the Eagles acquired Nick Mullins and then cut him this offseason. So that's why I was like, Nick Mullins.
Right. All right, sorry. Everything about 2020 gets muddled. Yeah, I think I'd probably go Philly right now.
Nah, I'm going Philly.
Yeah, Washington looked bad. Nate Sudfeld. Yeah, I get it, guys. All right.